Are you struggling with the spacing between columns in your table? It can be really frustrating when your layout doesn't look the way you want it to. Don't worry, you're not alone, and today we're going to solve this problem together. I completely understand how annoying it is when you try to format a table and the spacing just won't cooperate. Many people face this issue, especially when using CSS properties like margin, padding, or border. It's a common challenge. Here's the specific question we're addressing today. One user asked, "How can I achieve spacing only between table cells?" They tried using padding and border spacing, but nothing seemed to work. Sound familiar? Let's dive into this and find a solution. So what could be causing this issue? When using CSS, properties like padding and border spacing can sometimes behave unexpectedly, especially in tables. Understanding how these properties interact is key to finding the right solution. And stick around. I have a clever workaround at the end that might just surprise you. You won't want to miss it. To achieve the desired spacing between the table columns, the user should first consider using the CSS property called border spacing. This property allows for spacing between the borders of adjacent cells. If the user finds that border spacing is not working as expected, they can try using a combination of padding and margin on the table cells. This method can help create the illusion of space between the columns. Another approach is to use a spacer element between the table cells. The user can create a small empty table cell or a div with a specific width to act as a spacer. Lastly, if the user prefers a cleaner solution, they can utilize CSS Flexbox. By setting the display property of the table to flex, they can control the spacing more effectively. Fun fact, did you know that tables were once considered the pinnacle of web design? Now we have so many more options, but sometimes the old ways still hold value. Now let's look at the answers provided by other users. An alternative solution provided by another user suggests using the CSS property border spacing to create horizontal spacing between table columns. They recommend setting border spacing to 15 pixels horizontally and 0 vertically. To avoid extra spacing on the left and right, wrap the table in a div and apply negative margins to the table. That's all on that answer. Let's take a look at another one. An alternative solution suggests using a standard table structure for better CSS control. Instead of just using table data cells, wrap them in a table and row tag. To create space between the table data cells, add the CSS property border spacing with a value of 30 pixels for horizontal spacing. That's it for that response. Let's explore another one. An alternative solution provided by another user suggests using div elements with margins instead of table cells. This method allows you to create spacing between the cells effectively. Let's move forward and look at another answer. An alternative solution provided by another user is to use the cell spacing attribute in your table. This allows you to set the space between the table cells directly. Here's the clever workaround I promised. Using spacer elements can give you the control you need over spacing in your tables. It's a simple trick that can make a big difference. And there you have it. With these tips, you should be able to achieve the perfect spacing between your table columns. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe for more tips and tricks. And remember, sometimes the simplest solutions are the most effective.